Um, no. Wait a minute, please. Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, hmm.
So you will be get, I think, only 7 minutes approximate. So
Okay.
participants have to finish their task within 7 minutes. So I'll just put,
Uh,
once you start that presentation, I'll put the timer so that you can also,
yes, sir. Now I am ready.
okay. So
Okay.
shall we start now?
Yes.
Yeah. So your time starts now. Okay, go ahead.
My paper is based on how to share a secret by Adi Samir, 1947, 79. Um, let's start with the problem. 11 scientists are working on a secret project. They wish to lock up the documents in the cabinet so that the cabinet can be opened if and only if six or more scientists are present. Question is that what is the smallest number of locks needed, and what is the smallest number of keys to the lock each scientist must carry. Solution to the problem: optimum solution requires 462 locks and 252 keys per scientist. Clearly, these numbers are impractical. They become exponentially worse when the number of scientists increases. Such type of schemes is called Kn threshold scheme. Our aim is to divide data D into n pieces in such a way that D can be easily reconstructible from any k pieces. But even complete knowledge of k minus 1 pieces reveals absolutely no information about D. Absolutely no information about D. Let us consider one example, 4-7 threshold scheme. Here, k is equal to 4. Therefore, three guys together can't generate D, but four guys can generate D. Our scheme is based on polynomial interpolation. Given k points in two-dimensional plane, x1 y, the points are x1 y1 x2 y2, like that xk yk, with distinct ki xi's. Then there is only one polynomial q of x with degree k minus 1, such that satisfying q of xi is equal to yi uh, for each I between 1 and k minus 1. Here we are assuming that our data D is a number or can be made a number. Then how to divide D into n pieces? Um, for that, we generate a random polynomial of degree k minus 1 in which our constant term is D. Our constant term is D. Let us consider, let's say it is a q of x, a naught, a naught plus a1x plus a2 x square plus like that, ak, ak minus 1 k, x raised to k minus 1. Then we calculate d1 like q of 1 and di q of I. Uh, and lastly, d of n will be q of n. Calculating d is very simple because we will be given k pairs of points, k points. Then we will find the coefficient of polynomial by interpolation. Then we will evaluate d because our d is constant term. Therefore, we calculate q of 0. But is it possible to calculate d with k minus 1 pairs? No. Why? Let us assume that the opponent given k minus 1 pieces. Um, he can construct only one polynomial q dash of x, which will be of degree 2, x minus 2, sorry, k minus 2, uh, but not k minus 1. Thus, there is absolutely nothing the opponent can deduce about the real value of d. You can see here. Um, hmm, highlight. Yes. You can see the point D is here, and it can vary the very x y intercept can vary anywhere. Yes. What is important about threshold scheme? In order to protect our data, we encrypt it. But in order to protect encryption key, we need something different. Because further encryption change the problem rather than solve it. The most secure key management scheme, just like RSA, keeps the secret key in single well-guarded location, like computer or human brain. This scheme is highly unreliable since the single misfortune, like computer breakdown or sudden death or sabotage, can make the information inaccessible. Let's see the properties of Kane threshold scheme. When K is kept fixed, DI can be changed dynamically, dynamically added or deleted without affecting the other DI pieces. Because this property is very useful when executive joins or leaves the company. Second property, it is easy to change the DI without changing the original data D. Uh, all we can, all we need is the new polynomial Q of X with the same free term. Third property, we can get the hierarchical schemes in which the number of pieces needed to determine D depends on their importance. This property can we can visualize with this given example. Uh, it is a 310 threshold scheme. Here we given the company's president three values of Q of X, and vice president given two value of Q of X, and executives are given one value of Q of X. Then president alone can unlock the scheme, and one vice president and with one vice president with one executive can unlock, but vice president can unable will not be able to unlock the scheme. Like that, two executives will not be able to unlock the scheme, because here k is equal to 3. um, let's see the applications of threshold schemes. Threshold schemes are ideally suited in application in which a group of mutually suspicious individual with conflicting interest must cooperate. It is used in banking sector and cryptocurrency security. The current status is that it is not used, uh, because it is very slow, and it cost very much. Nowadays, its upgraded version KLN threshold RAM secret sharing scheme is used widely because it is based on XOR operation, making it fast and cost effective. Um, and that's it. Lastly, I would like to show one of my favorite quote from Adi Samir. Crypto will not be broken; it will be bypassed. Thank you.
Judges, if you have any questions, you can ask.
Uh, yes, Manish,
Yes.
can you show your slides,
Okay.
that that polynomial, the slides of polynomial?
Slides of polynomial.
Ah, yes, you show no, yeah.
Okay.
Go back, go back.
Back. Polynomial here. Oh no. Hmm. Yes, sir. Is it this one?
Yes, yes, that was this one, previous one.
Previous one. Which one? Yeah.
Yeah. So yes.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So what is the guarantee that there exists only one polynomial qx of degree k minus 1?
Acha. So there is a theorem given by yeah, um, Vandermonde, just like that. Vandermonde, yes. We can. One theorem by Vandermonde which said that if we are given k
Hmm.
distinct points on the on a two-dimensional plane, then we will have one polynomial which will be of degree k minus 1 passing from all that points.
Okay.
Hmm.
Means it guarantees that only one polynomial will exist.
Yes,
Okay.
which will be of degree k minus 1. If
Okay.
we increase our degree, then we will have more degree of freedom than can be.
Okay. Yes, madam, you want to ask?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, Manish.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Manish, it's a good presentation. But can you tell me one thing, that has anybody else have worked on the same topic either before or after Hadi Shamir?
Acha.
No, it's just out of curiosity. Huh? I'm just asking that this question has been tried to solve by only Hadi Samir, or anybody else also has tried?
Actually, this problem was taken from yes, Introduction to Combinatorial Mathematics.
Okay, okay.
Yes, and he generalized it into threshold scheme in 1979.
Okay. So first, initially, it was started studying about the topic in 1968, right?
Hmm.
And then it has been developed by Vaishnav. Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Judges, there is a slightly change in that given serial number.
Yeah.
The second, or I can say, I mean to say third one, Lakshita Pujari and Vaishnavi Singh will do it together. Okay, so that is assumed
Okay,
to be the
okay.
one project. So you can just make that note of that.
Okay,
Okay.
Lakshita and who?
Vaishnavi Singh.
11. Serial number 11, no? Rahul sir?
Yeah. Serial
Yes,
number
yes.
Vaishnav
3 and serial number 11.
Okay.
3 and 11. And they, I think Vaishnavi's name has come twice in the sheet also.
No, updated one has already sent by sir. Are you checking with the updated one?
No, let me see. I will see that. Don't worry.
If you want, I'll share it. No problem.
Okay, okay, fine. Huh?
Sanket sir, you have a updated one, wala?
Yes, yes, मेरे पास updated है.
Okay. I'll
तो
forward to
हाँ.
madam.
Okay, it has been sent today.
No,
No,
last
no.
class, yesterday only.
Yesterday only,
Oh,
madam.
okay, I will check it.
Ma'am, I have already forwarded. You can refer that. No problem.
Okay, thank you, Rahul sir. Yeah. Just
So
2 minutes, huh, Rahul sir? 2
yeah,
minutes for the
no
mass,
problem.
and then you can start with the next one.
Lakshita, you can share your slides.
So, can you make Sagar Gupta as co-host because he's
No, he can also share. I have allowed to everyone share.
okay.
Sagar, you can share. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So, can we start?
Just a minute. Let Chaya madam can.
Yes, I'm okay with that now.
Okay, students. Okay, students, you can start. No problem.
Okay, sir.
Your time starts now.
Good morning to dear judges, teachers, and all my dear friends. I, Miss Lakshita Pujari, and my partner Vaishnavi Singh are going to represent you a small presentation about the impact of COVID-19 on junior college students. Next topic. As we know, most of our junior college students are not much aware of the technology. So it has been a difficult phase for them to attend online lectures and to understand that very well. And some students have online practical too. So we have made a survey so that we can find out the problem they are facing during the pandemic and the effect of COVID-19 on them. Introduction. All the people across the globe are facing a lot of problems because of the present pandemic, due to which there is a lockdown for several months. People were quarantined and a lot. All school, colleges, working places, transport was being closed. All this lead to a backfill in the sector. But after a few months, it has not been affordable to delay the work and the education of young generation. So the government came up with an idea of work from home. But it is a totally different way of education for all the students till now. E-learning is one of the cause of social isolation. So as we move further, we will get to know about this more. Objectives. Most of the junior college students are not much aware about the kind of technology we use nowadays for meeting and communication. So our goal was to find out the mode of students really like and prefer, mode which is convenient and better, to compare the hours of time they give to their studies and to themselves during traditional learning and in online learning. Methodology. To gather the data, we use the questionnaires format from the Google form. We send the link of Google form through WhatsApp and by email to all the college students. We tried to collect data with minimal resources. So we got a collection of 1794 responses from all the streams, from which 55% are from science, 30% are from commerce, and 15% are from arts. Analyzation of data, in which the first comes distribution of data. Out of 1,794 responses from all the stream, we got 53% of female response and 47% of male response. Next, we have more preferred by the students. Out of all the responses, we have noted that 55% of students prefer online studies and the rest 45% students prefer online studies. Device and the platform referred by the students for online lectures. Devices. By the collected response, we have seen that almost 90% of students prefer mobile for their online studies and lecture, and the rest, as you can see in the slide. Classroom. According by the gathered data, we can study that 92% of the students prefer Zoom as a platform for their online lectures and practicals, and the rest of the students use Google Meet, Microsoft, and others as given in the following chart.
This joint bar graph reveals that approx 15% students study online and 17% students study offline for 2 to 3 hours, and so on. Next, please. This graph reveals that 52% students spent less than 5 hours in online activities, whereas 53% spent in traditional activities, and so on. Here, since both the variables, that is mode of study and hours spent in study, are categorical, and therefore to study relationship between them, we have performed chi-square test. For this test, we assume our null hypothesis as there is no relationship between two variables. But after performing the test, we got our p-value as 0, which is less than our level of significance, and hence we reject our null hypothesis. That is, there is relationship between mode of study and hours spent in study, and thus they both are dependent variables. Next. To study difference between average hours spent in online and traditional study, we could have applied t-test for independent, but since variances of two population are not same, hence we couldn't apply it. So we go for a non-parametric test, that is Menn-Whitney test. In this test, we assume our null hypothesis as there is no significant difference between average hours spent in online and traditional study. But after performing the test, we got our significance value as 0.051, which is greater than level of significance. And therefore, we do not reject our null hypothesis. That is, There is no significant difference between average hours spent in online and offline study. Next. To compare average hours spent in online and traditional activity, we used t-test for independent. For this test, we assumed our null hypothesis as there is difference between average hours spent in online and traditional activities. But after performing the test, we got our p-value as 0.743, which is greater than level of significance, and hence we do not reject our null hypothesis. That is, there is no significant difference between average hours spent in online and traditional activities. One can also say by looking the group statistic tables that their means are approximate same, so we do not reject our null hypothesis. Our inferences are there is a relationship between mode of study and hours spent in study. There is no difference between average hours spent in online and offline study. There is no difference between average hours spent in attending online and traditional activities. Students mainly prefer traditional teaching. Mobile is the mainly used device, and Zoom is the mainly preferable platform for online lectures. And last but not the least, that due to lack of interaction with teachers, students are willing to attend offline lectures. Thank you.
Judges, if you have any question, you can.
Madam?
Yes, I have some
Yeah.
questions. Good, Lakshita and Vaishnavi, good attempt of collecting data, presenting very nicely, confidently. Very good. Few questions I have in my mind. About one thing is from where your sample is based, that I did not get. From where you have collected the data, from which area, or what is your population?
Ma'am, junior college students.
But from our college?
Yes, ma'am, from our as well as from other colleges also.
Okay, so various colleges were considered as a population together.
Yes,
So
ma'am, yes.
related to only RJ College. Okay, fine. Then, do you have any idea about the other students who are from the other colleges? Are they using some another platform than Zoom, or they are using Zoom only? Do you have any idea? Why I am asking this question? Because in our college, we are using Zoom. So our students might be responding you in the form of their own experience, obviously, where they will say, yes, Zoom is better. But when you are comparing platforms, your sample should include all different types of sample units which are using Zoom as well as Google Meet as well as Microsoft Team others. Are there responses like that also?
Yes, ma'am. Most of the means around 6% of students have selected Google Meet, and 1% have selected Microsoft Team too.
Yeah, that I could see. Yeah, that is from the your slide. We can see that. But no. What I mean to ask that is it proportionately more or less same number of units you have used from the sample? Are you getting my question? That means if majority of your sample is already using Zoom only, then they are going to say that Zoom is better, right?
Yes, ma'am, but this data is collected from various college, junior college students, ma'am. So we got reply that yes, Zoom is only mainly preferable platform.
Okay, means no, when the comparison of two different platforms comes, that time a student should be, they must have been using both or two or more the different types of platforms, then only they can compare. That is what I hope you are getting my point. If you are using, if a sample is using more than two platforms, then only they can say that yes, this is better than that, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
If they are using only Zoom, yes, they are going to say yes, Zoom is better. If they are using Google Meet, they are going to say yes, Google Meet is better. So as far as this is what I feel, that it is a percentage of using Zoom and they are comfortable with that platform.
Platform.
Yeah, that is how the conclusion is. Okay, fine. So you agree with this, no? What I said?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes.
Okay, okay. Good presentation. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, very good presentation. Just I want to ask, you have collected all this data through Google Form or any other source?
Sir, from Google Form.
Google
Okay,
form.
so you can have share these Google Forms to the students of other colleges, means outside Mumbai, and then you will get.
My side
Sir,
only.
not outside Mumbai, sir.
But
Only
हाँ
In
लेकिन
Mumbai only.
हाँ लेकिन भेज सकते थे ना आप, so that you can get more data and you can analyze it in a more proper way. Means the students outside the Mumbai, what they are thinking, that you can also see that. Okay. But
Sir, we
anyway,
are limited region, like Mumbai region.
okay, you have selected only Mumbai region.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But I can see in the title that is there is no Mumbai. The region is not mentioned. Okay, anyway, very good presentation. You have included many tests, that is Chi test and T test and other test also. So, okay, very good. Okay,
Okay, so
okay,
sir, we'll start next presentation.
No, just wait, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I'm ready. Huh?
Yeah, so next participants is Om Maurya and Shurbi Rane, participant number 4 and 12.
Okay.
okay, sir.
Two minutes, sir.
Yeah.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, you
Hello.
can start.
Yeah, you can start.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, dear teacher, friends, and students. This is Om Maurya, and my partner, Ms. Surbi Rane, is going to present you a statistical analysis of the impact of COVID-19 on degree college students. As everyone know there is a pandemic change everyone's life and it affect the lot. Nowadays everything is online, everyone stuck inside the house. So government as you can say, the learning is more very important. So government decide to take the lectures online. So we decide to study the several impact of pandemic on the students during this survey.
The main objective of this survey is to study the student perspective towards education during pandemic situation, to know the student learning status as well as how quality of online teaching affects the students during this COVID-19 situation. identifying health issues and challenges faced by the students, and what new things they learn due to the online teaching system during COVID-19 pandemic situation. Next, firstly, we created questionnaire with the help of teachers. After that, we created Google Form, which we shared with different communication mediums like WhatsApp, Telegram, etc. And we shared it to the many students of degree college students with different colleges and areas. From this survey, we get responses of 993 students from degree colleges. Next, distribution of students. We have 55 percentage male students who responded to for the Google form, and 45% female student who responded in this survey. Next, distribution of streams. 20% students are from arts faculty, 35% students are from commerce faculty, 45% students are from science faculty, and others who are responded to this survey of education. Next, when we ask students about which mode they prefer most of the time, they told us that offline studying is the main preference of maximum student. Like 51% students like to study offline rather than 49% students likes to study online regularly. Next, have a spent attending activities online teaching. When we whether they are students getting other time to attend other activities or not, when we ask students about this, students tell us with the help of Google form, students tell us that less than 5 hours they get more. Many of the students get less than 5 hours to do other activities during this situation. Like 60.22% students get less than 5 hours, 21.15% get 5 to 6 hours, and others. Next, hours spent attending activities in traditional teaching. 59.52% students get less than 5 hours to attend other activities during traditional teaching, and 21.05% get 5 to 6 hours. 8.96% students get 6 to 7 hours for other activities. Next.
Now we are moving further towards the descriptive statistics of quality of online teaching rate. As you can see, there is a 413 out of 993 students are strongly agree, means they are satisfied with the quality of online teaching, where 290 out of 990 students are not satisfied and remaining 290 are not sure about it. As we can see in the graphical form, you can see there is a almost 60% students are satisfied and can say not sure about this, and 28% students are not satisfied. Now we are talking about the health issue which is faced by the student. During online lectures, most of students face health problems like back pain, stress, and most commonly are the eye irritation. In survey, we find out that up to 45% students face all problems like, as I said, back pain, stress, eye irritation, and so on. And others 36 only more separately 36% face only eye irritation problem, and remaining 10 and 7% students face stress and back pain only. To know the dependency of the mode of preference lecture and health issue faced by the students,
just
we
wait.
use the
Just wait. Madam का कुछ technical issue है. So I think the madam is joining. So you can start from again the contingency coefficient से start करो. रुको अभी एक मिनट.
Okay. मैम लेफ्ट हो गई.
संकेत सर, मैडम का थोड़ा कनेक्टिविटी प्रॉब्लम हुआ है, तो
Okay, Rahul sir, no issue sir. You can wait.
participant numbers are?
Participant numbers are 5 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you can start. Yes, you can start.
Good morning to one and all present here. Myself Shubham Shedegar.
Myself, Shivani Hundare.
So as you all know, our world is suffering from worldwide pandemic of coronavirus disease. So we have twist and turn ourselves according to the situation which has occurred. Even our teachers and students have been going through many challenges such as taking online lectures. So here we have done survey on how teachers have managed their online teaching objectives. We have got to know how much people have responded, and also from these respondents we have distinguished percentage of male and female and also have determined their age groups. This survey has also helps us to understand that which platform suits the most for teachers and also which source is better for them to share notes and e-content. In short, we will understand whether teachers are fine with online method or with traditional method. As for now, our teachers are very well versed with both of the modes, whether it's offline or online. So here we will make analysis about which one is more beneficial to them. Data collection. We prepare a list of questions and made an appropriate Google form, which was shared to as many of teachers as we could. We got 51 responses, which were far enough for us to do analysis about gender, age, and in which platform they are comfortable to deliver lectures, and also which source is better. Further slides will make us understand about each one of these one by one. Analysis. Here, the first chart tells us about the distribution of gender. From total responses, 67% are female and rest of them, that is 33% are male. Also, the second chart, that is of age, tells us people those have responded belongs to which age groups. So from all these respondents, 38.46% of people are from 26 to 35 age group, and 34.61% of belongs to 36 to 45 age groups, and so on.
Next, we had did analysis regarding which platform is better for teachers to teach. So from all the responses we got to know that 92.15% of teachers have responded to Zoom application. Most of the teachers are comfortable with Zoom application as it is more safe and easy to use. Very few of them have responded to Google Meet and Microsoft Teams, that is 5.88% and 1.96% respectively. Now, as teachers take lecture on the daily basis, they also need to provide notes in the form of e-content. So most of the teachers have chosen Google Classroom for sharing notes and e-content, as Google Classroom can create curriculum, share assignments, and even ask a student to submit their assignments before a given deadline. In short, teachers can interact with students in a paperless way. Also, we have seen 28.84% of teachers have responded to WhatsApp, and very few of them have responded to Telegram, that is 3.84%, because if there are large files to be shared, then Telegram is one of the best app to use. Are spent in other activities rather than online teaching. From the 51 responses, we observed that less than 6 hours, including preparation of e-contents, that is 33%. There are 22% of teachers who spend 6 to 7 hours and so on for 7 to 8 hours. On the other side, we observe that 51% of teachers spent less than 5 hours in traditional teaching, 39% of them spent 5 to 6 hours for online teaching, and so on for 4%, that is 6 to 7 hours, and 6% for 7 to 8 hours. From both the analysis, we can conclude that traditional teaching was better than online teaching for preparation of e-content. Earlier we saw with the help of charts. Now let's see the difference with the help of table. So from this table, we get to know averages spent in teaching, including preparation of e-content in online mode is 6.11 hours, whereas in traditional mode, it is 5.6 hours. Before performing t-test for independent, we need to test whether these variances between two populations are same or not. So we applied Levin's test and we found that p-value is 0.122, which is greater than level of significance, that is 0.05. Hence the variances between two populations are same, and therefore we applied t-test for independent. If in case the p-value was 0.011, which is less than the level of significance, that is 0.05, we would have reject H0, and we conclude that there is significant difference between the hours spent in teaching, including preparation of online mode and traditional mode. Now, let's see, after spending so much time in teaching, how much time do they get for other activities? So in online teaching, apart from taking lectures, 74% of teachers get less than 5 hours for other activities. 16%, 8%, and 2% of teachers get time between 5 to 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours, and 7 to 8 hours respectively. This was the analysis for online mode. Now, now let's see what does traditional mode gives us the result. In traditional teaching, 60% have voted for less than 5 hours, 16% for 5 to 6, 18% for 6 to 7, and very few for 7 to 8. So, in short, we can determine that online teaching is better for teachers because in it, most of them get free time for their other activities. This was the analysis from the responses we obtained, and we explained with the help of graph. Now let's see, does it make any difference while explaining in the form of table? So we did group statistics and found that average hours spent in other activities rather than teaching in online mode is 5.5 hours, whereas in traditional mode it is 5.76 hours. Before performing t-test, we need to find whether these variances between two populations are same or not. So we applied Levin's test and found that p-value is 0.216, which is greater than the level of significance, which is 0.05. Hence, the variances between two populations are same. Therefore, we took t-test for independence. If in case the p-value was 0.255, which is greater than 0.05, we do not reject H0 and conclude that there is insignificant difference between hours spent in other activities rather than teaching in online mode and traditional mode.
Conclusion. So from all the analysis, we got to know the struggle of our teachers behind teaching us. So even COVID-19 has its impact, and also we understand how teachers have did their time management. Zoom is the best platform for teachers as it is easy and free to use. And for sharing notes, most of the teachers prefer Google Classroom because they can assign assignment to all students or individual student. Teachers can either immediately given out assignment or schedule the assignment for particular day. So we can conclude that traditional teaching method is better for them to make e-content and their notes. On the other side, even online teaching is better so that they can remove time for their other activities too.
COVID-19 has encouraged teachers and students to break the four walls and step into the digital world, a world that prides itself over a limitless reach of ideas, people, and skills. Thank you.
Again, very good presentation. Especially, I must pat a back of Shivani. Shivani spoke very, very well. Very good, Shivani. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Shivani's explanation was like, you know, somebody orator or, you know, somebody expert in talking or giving speeches. She spoke like that. Very good, Shivani.
Thank you, ma'am.
Like the way the data or the material everybody has, you know, but the way where you can make the difference from the others, the how you talk, how you present, how you speak, that is very well done by Shivani today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now about presentation. Presentation is very good presentation. Can you go back to the slide where you have, you know, before conclusion? You can go just before conclusion.
Yes.
With this slide as well as the earlier slide, everywhere I can see last column, just next to that, you just show the correct one. This one, and one more, just maybe 2-3 slides back, it was also there, that 95% confidence interval of the difference. What is that and where you have used that?
Actually, ma'am, that we just took it from SPS software. We just calculated there. And from, yes, this is not actually included in this. This has not been used, but we have just showed it.
Yes, that is what. See, when you are showing something, no, you should use, either you use that data or you don't show that data.
Yes, right.
right? So next time you remember, if you are mentioned, that is correct. Spaces gives everything, you know,
Yeah.
it gives a bundle of things, the results. But what you are using or what you are trying to prove in the conclusions, only that much you should show. You know,
Yes, yes.
पकाते वक्त बहुत सारा पक जाता है, लेकिन खिलाते वक्त जो खिलाते हैं वही दिखाना चाहिए ना. That is how.
Yes, right.
Okay, so that care you take next time. Otherwise, very good presentation.
Yes.
I'm done
Okay.
with questions.
Okay, madam. So I have one question. The Google Forms of 51 teachers you have taken, no?
Yes.
Yeah, those 51 teachers are from our college or from Mumbai or in Maharashtra? Or...
यस सर, एक्चुअली हमने किया था शेयर, मतलब मैं कोकण रीजन से, तो मैंने यहाँ पे शेयर किया था, पर उतने रिस्पॉन्सेस नहीं मिले हमें.
Okay.
And actually I shared with one of my friend, and even she shared to her teachers, and that time she received 2-3 responses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But most of the responses were from our college.
Okay. Okay. हाँ हाँ. अपने कॉलेज से है तो बाहर का मतलब outside our college no. Right?
ज़्यादा
Teachers
नहीं
are
है.
so like fearing about the data चला जाएगा हमारा.
सर ज़्यादा डेटा नहीं मिला.
That's why, sir. That's why.
हाँ,
Sir,
that's
if you
why.
just compare the students' data in junior college,
Yes.
we got around 1700 students' data. But whereas the teachers, hardly we get around 50 to 60 sample.
हाँ 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 नहीं बहुत बार क्या होता है कि ये ऐसे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चनर आते हैं ना.
Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
तो
How many times we should feel it?
we should fill and the same data so that's why sometimes हम skip कर देते हैं, जाने दो बोल
Yes,
देते हैं,
yes,
छोड़
yes,
देते हैं.
yes.
और second thing क्या है, just I want to tell कि for this online teaching and offline, I mean traditional teaching, we are doing traditional teaching from last number of years.
Yes,
and
right.
and we are very much used to with this technique and this way of teaching and interacting with students. And online teaching is just last पिछले एक साल से चल रहा है just.
Yes.
So all of we means the teacher of having 25 years age and 60 years age, we all are new about to this technique or this way of teaching. So this may affect the data. ये कहाँ तो data पे affect होता है ऐसा मतलब मुझे feel होता है.
Okay.
हाँ because of that, क्योंकि देखो ना अभी पिछले 20 साल से कोई 20-25 साल से एक वे से ही पढ़ाई टीचिंग कर रहा है.
Yes.
और सडनली उसको बताएंगे कि नहीं इस वे से पढ़ाओ, तो सडनली मतलब इनर्शिया कहाँ तो रहता है. तो that
Yes.
inertia affects with this data. I suppose that is
Yes,
my
sir, yes, sir.
personal suggestion. That's all. Okay, and no any other things
Yeah.
from my side.
थैंक यू सर.
लेकिन एक बात है कि जब ये ऑनलाइन टीचिंग का जब बेनिफिट्स हमें पता चलेंगे देन द डेटा मे बी डिफरेंट.
Yes, right.
Yes, so these statistical things, these digits, they depends on time, I think.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर.
So should I stop screen share?
Yeah, I can stop.
Yes,
Can-
yes.
Okay. So next participants is Ladli Bhagwat and Priyanshi Yadav. Participants number 17 and I think 18. Just a minute. 7 and 8. Sorry, 7 and 8. Start now. Priyanshi, is there any problem?
I don't know. Adley was about to start.
Just click enter, see whether you can go to next slide. Enter.
If you have any technical issue, you can continue later also. By that time, can we take next participant? You can try.
Yes, ma'am, I think.
Okay, stop sharing them.
Yeah, then stop sharing. There is some technical issue. We can look for the next participant and then we can come back.
Yeah. Shaili and Jyoti. Next participant, Shaili and Jyoti. Yeah.
Numbers, participant numbers.
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
Okay, thank you.
Jyoti? Is Jyoti there?
Yes, I'm there.
Can we start, sir?
Yeah, you can start. You can start.
Siley,
Yes.
am
Keep
I
in slide
audible
mode.
properly?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Keep on slide mode. इटली वाला है क्या?
This is the last
Oh.
slide.
Yeah, you can start.
Sorry.
It's okay, Saili and Jyoti. You can start again.
Yeah, you can take your own time. It's not hurry.
Yeah.
We are not in a hurry.
We are not in a hurry.
Or we can go to next participants.
Sir,
No, sir, wait.
I can.
Wait for 2 minutes.
Sir, I can.
That's
Yeah.
Hadley and this thing. They
Yes,
can,
yes.
okay,
Yes, sir, I can.
back to them.
Okay. Sir, should we start?
Yeah, you can. So it's a participant, Ladli and Priyanshi, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, share it.
Priyanshi, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. A very good morning to one and all. I am Ladli Bhagat.
Good morning, everyone. I am Priyanshi Yadav. We are glad to present classic research paper at Anusandhan 2021 to remember and celebrate National Science Day.
Priyanshi, let's start stone, paper, scissors.
Okay. Stone, paper, scissors.
Since we can't show our moves here, so these are the possible outcomes of our choices, which we have represented in matrix form. A game with 2 players and 3 strategies or choices. You all must be wondering what we are doing. We are just related this with our topic, that is game theory. Next.
So the theory of game of strategies, founded by John von Neumann in year 1928, but he wrote this paper in German, which was out of reach for non-Germans. So in year 1959, it is translated in English by Miss Sonia Bergman in a book known as Contribution to the Theory of Games, Volume 4.
Let's see what game theory is actually. It is study for determining the best strategy for given condition in order to optimize the outcome.
Opponent or competitors are referring as players. The choices that players have are called strategies. Outcome of each players are summarized as function of different strategies.
Now we'll simplify the general case. Here we'll play this game once and let's see what happens. Let us assume that there are n number of players and each of them have number of strategies available to them. Let S1, S2 up to Sn will be the steps that and Y1, Y2 up let S1, S2 up to Sn will be the steps, that is Y1, Y2 up to Yn, and let X be drawn. Every player will get some result which is denoted by functions of X and their choices. So the result will look like this. Let's see the particular cases. When n is equals to 0, no game will take place, and when n is equals to 1, there would be no competition or no result.
As we have seen above, as cases are denied, so game theory starts from n equals to 2. So let's say S1 and S2 be two players. And from here, I can say give 1 to sigma 1 are strategies of S1 and 1 to sigma 2 are strategies of S2. And the resulting outcome is G of XY. So here I can say that X1 is the maximizing player and S2 is the minimizing player. Main concept of choosing the strategy is they always list out the worst possibilities and choose best among them. Hence, S1 used maximum. Here we can see maximum criteria where S2 selects minimax. So obviously that is why for S1 G of XY greater than equal to maximi G of XY. For S2 G of XY less than equal to minimax G of XY. And after this we can say maximi is less than equal to minimax.
In general, maximin is always less than equal to minimax. These are the possible equations. When maximin is equals to minimax, it means then every time player will choose same strategy and the result will always be same, that is pure strategy. And similarly, when maximin is less than minimax, then player will choose their strategy with certain probabilities, and that is mixed strategy. If S1 and S2 selects their strategy with probability zeta 1, zeta 2 till zeta sigma 1 and eta 1, eta 2 till eta sigma 2, this table will represent expected result for both players. For S1, the result is M is equals to H of zeta 1 comma eta, and for S2 it is negative of that.
So as we have seen n equals to 2. Now we'll see for n equals to 3. As we saw, like S1 was the maximizing player and S2 was the minimizing player because there were two players. But now it's 3. So there we can just assume like we can see, but this is not same like that. So any two players of 3 players come together and try to play against third one. This is what n equals to 3. Like we have defined here, like M12 means first and second player combine together and play against third one. Similarly, it goes for M13 and M23. Like M13 play against second player and 2-3 play against first player. So here we define D. M12 plus M13 plus M23 that is greater than equal to 0. There are possible cases. Let's see D equals to 0. In this case, a play has for the players S1. For S1, the values is minus M2, 3. Similarly, it goes for S2 and S3 respectively. Now we'll see for D greater than 0. In this case, a play has for the players S1. Here for S1, basic values is minus M23 plus 1 by 3D. Similarly, it's go for, similarly, it go for S2 and S3 respectively.
Now, for n is equals to 4, in this, either 3 of them will come together and play against one player, or 2 players combine and play against 2 players. As we have seen these two cases, we can discuss the principle of n is equals to 4, and yes, it is possible, but it is not satisfactory for general theory. In conclusion, after this topic, John von Neumann also worked on this paper further. He said that in later publications, a numerical calculation of some well-known two-person game will take place.
Game theory is not about gaming. It's also used in various factors, directly or indirectly. Let's say application of game theory in real life. So as you can see here in business world, here is one example of companies using Coca-Cola, Thumbs Up, and Pepsi. They are the rival companies. What strategy they can use to increase their profit and demand? They can advertise about their product in holding, in television, or in newspaper, and many more strategies they can use. Even I have mentioned, yes, there are various application of game theory. It is one of this is stock market decision. Here is business dilemma. It is the first mathematical application which was used by game theory. Here is binding in auction. And here it's war strategy.
Let's see the history of game theory in chronological order. In 1913, Ernest Zermelo published his paper in German, that is, on an application of set theory to the theory of the games of chess. Game theory didn't really exist as a unique field until John Neumann. And then John Neumann's proofs are used for Browser's fixed points theorem on continuous mapping and into compact convex sets and mathematical economics. The discussion for Prisoner's Dilemma experiment appeared by Merrill M. in year 1950, and also a philosophical and political science are the first application to be found. And in 1979, computer programs are widely used by Robert Axelrod.
We would like to thank you, like a great thanks to Professor Kiran Kovalkar, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for making our presentation successful by giving this paper. It was a great help. I would also like to thank Chaya ma'am. Without you, won't be able to present this. She kept us guiding in every possible way. Thank you, ma'am. Keep supporting us.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, now come to question.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sanket sir.
Yes, madam.
Yes, if you have any question, please ask.
Yes, yes. Please go to the second last slide.
This.
Yes, this one. So second point mentioned is Neumann original proof used Browne's fixed point theorem. So can you explain what, or can you state Browne's fixed point theorem?
So he has only mentioned his name. He didn't do anything about that. He didn't, in that research paper, that there was nothing about that.
Okay, so
we just took out his history and we just it's a history of game theory, and we just listed out from like it started in 1913 and we have listed till 1979, like what
okay,
it happened,
only the
what
historical
kind of
points.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so do you know anything about that Nash equilibrium in game theory?
Nash equilibrium.
Is it used anywhere in your work?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, why?
We just we were we were presenting of
So
19.
we just studied the whole research paper, and in that the paper was mostly related to mathematical model, and Nash equilibrium was not in that.
I think it's using this.
Okay. Okay, that's from my side. Thank you. Nice presentation. Nice topic.
I would like to ask one question. You have said that political science, there also you can apply game theory. Can you give some example of use of game theory in politics? Isn't it like again a business?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you elaborate the use of game theory in politics?
People can. I don't know.
Ma'am, they
In
can
politics, you can
they
start.
can use this for making decisions like how to grow their party and how that strategies they can use against the rival parties.
Yes. How voting can be increased, or which
Yes, and
how
what
to
can they
make,
do for
make
that?
the propaganda of their own party.
Yes,
Those strategies can be used in games. Okay, fine. Okay, good presentation, and I know it is really very difficult to present research paper, old research paper, and that too at undergraduate level.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Very good presentation. Good.
Can we go ahead?
Just 1 minute.
Yes,
yeah, 1 minute we can just. Yes, I'm done.
Next participants is Shaili and Jyoti.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. We are here to present the research paper of critical path planning and scheduling by James A. Kelly and Morgan Walker in late 1950. The paper is divided into two parts. The first part is analysis of project containing these 5 points, which we are going to see one by one. And the second part is historical development and results. So let's see the historical development first. At the earliest time, the traditional project planning and scheduling procedures were not too good. So the integrated engineering control group of EI DuPont de Nemours proceeded to explore possible alternatives. They first separated the functions of planning from scheduling, as it was one of the difficulties in the traditional approach. After that, they formulated the abstract model of engineering project.
There are some terminologies which we are going to use in the further slides. So have a look on those points. First is planning. It divides the entire project into different tasks or jobs and also states the sequence in which these jobs must occur. Second is scheduling. It produces the job project timetable. That means the start and the end time of each and every job is calculated here. Now the technique for doing this planning and scheduling is nothing but critical path method. Activity is simply a job or task which utilizes the resources and has a proper beginning and end. For example, we can consider traveling from Mumbai to Pune as an activity. Here, Mumbai is a start point and the Pune is the end point for the job. For event, we can say it is a junction point where some activities gets over and the next activities begin. As the name suggests, earliest possible time is the earliest time when an event can be reached, and the latest allowable time is the latest time by which an event must occur without affecting the overall schedule of the project. Now moving towards the first part of the paper, that is analysis of project. Under this, the first point is project structure. That is the basic representation of the project. We represent each job by an arrow. As you can see here in the diagram, the direction of time flows from tail to head of the arrow. And these arrows are then interconnected to show the sequence of job in the project. Here, events are labeled such that the event at the head of the arrow always has the greater label than the event at the tail. It is important to note that no activity can occur unless all of its preceding activities are completed. These are some questions which we consider for each job while building the diagram. Second point is calendar limits on activities. Diagramming a project is only the first step in the analysis. After that, a timetable must be planned to obtain a schedule. On the basis of elapsed time duration, scheduling may be deterministic or non-deterministic. So let's consider the first case, that is deterministic scheduling. By knowing the elapsed time duration of activities, we can easily calculate the earliest start time of the event, which is denoted by Tj0, which is as shown here. Yes, and similarly, we can find the latest time for each event, which are denoted by Ti1, and we can compute this using this formula. There are some important quantities for the job ij, which are earliest start time, which we discussed previously, and the earliest completion time, which we can find by just adding the duration of the activity to the earliest start time. Similarly, if we know the latest completion time, we can find the latest start time by just subtracting the duration of the activity from it. And the maximum time available for a job. Critical job is a job which has a duration equal to the maximum time available to it. And a contiguous path containing critical jobs from a start to end is the critical path. Critical path is the longest path in the project, and it does not allow any delay in the project. If delay occurs in any job, the job is called floater, and simply we can say float is a relax or the delay provided. These are the types of floats which we can easily calculate using the formula mentioned here. So from this we can say all the float values of a critical job is always 0, as it does not allow delay in the project. Now moving towards the second case, non-deterministic. In this case, we assume that the duration of the activity ij is a random variable and having some distribution function. Therefore, the start time at which the event occurs and the completion time for job ij are also random variable.
Now let's move towards the project cost function. Cost management is the process by which one plans and manages the cost of business or project. Therefore, the one we will focus our attention upon is cost. Now, what is job cost? The total job cost include both direct cost and indirect cost of performing the activities of the project. Direct cost of the project include the cost of materials, labors, equipments, etc. While when the duration of job equals the Dij, what is Dij is the normal duration for job. Then we can say the cost is minimum. And the crash duration is the shortest activity duration when the maximum amount of resources has been assigned to the activity. From this graph, we can see that curve is approximated to linear so that the cost of job is this, having the negative slope Aij. In minimum project cost, objective is to determine the activity duration and to schedule the activities in order to minimize the project cost. At this point, it should be noted that the case where each job cost is non-increasing piecewise linear and convex function. And this is the method to obtain an optimal schedule for a job. And along with the direct cost, the external cost must be taken into account. Other costs are involved which contribute to the total project cost, such as overhead and administrative costs, and perhaps even penalties for not completing a project. Manpower leveling. It is about making optimum use of manpower available. we cannot employ more than what we have. If we have 40 workers and the requirement is of 60 workers, we cannot hire 20 workers temporarily for few days. If we hire more 20 workers, then it will cost more. So we have to level manpower and cost both. An accounting basis for project work. CPM gives the sequence focusing mainly on jobs need to be completed. Therefore, planning for a project, budgeting is very important. So here cost account number is assigned to every job in the project. Here we have taken one example based on construction, in which we can see how the jobs are divided and arranged in a proper sequence of their occurrence. From start to finish, there are multiple paths in the project, but one which is represented in red is a critical path as it is the longest path of the project. From this, we can say critical path identification is required for any project planning phase. This gives the project management the correct completion date of overall project and flexibility to the float activities. So we can say it is very relevant today and it will be relevant forever. Thank you.
Yes, Tejas, any question?
Yes, very good, neat and clean presentation. But I felt it is almost majority of the part was a part of your syllabus, right? Where hardly a very few part of it I could see other than your syllabus. Do you agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think you miss the opportunity of learning something extra, much more extra than what you have, because this was almost a part of the syllabus which you have covered already. But still, nevertheless, I hope. Well,
Up to the project cost, it was there in our syllabus, and after that, the factors like manpower leveling and the accounting basis was not there, and that much we did.
Manpower leveling and
manpower and accounting basis for the project and that.
Last two slides, right? Last
yes.
2 slides. Okay, fine. That is why I said the majority part of it was done. Okay, fine. Can you give me some real life example which you go through by using PERT CPM? You means any student, I mean to say.
Ma'am, this example only, that means construction of any, this is the example for construction of house. So
I'm asking about student. Can you give me real life example of any student who is using this? Any, see, it is just to know about.
As a critical path method in which we can say from we can assume that it is a start point and reaching a college is a end point, and there may be between these two stations, if we consider the traveling via train, then we can consider the stations as the different events.
Okay.
So calculate the time and all from there on.
Okay, but then in that case, which will be your parallel activities?
For parallel activities, we can consider the different modes of transportation. Like if I'm using the train or as a transportation, and anyone else using the bus, and so different bus stop will be their events, and then we can compare which time is maximum or which is the critical path. Is it okay?
And if the parallel activity we can consider as a studying in train and as well as traveling for a college, this also a parallel activity, no?
Okay. Sir, would you like to ask something?
Yes, one question. Just go to the previous slides. That graph you have drawn.
Sir, this slide?
Yes, this one. Yes, I want to see normal limit and okay. Okay. Okay, no problem. Just I have no question. Just I want to see this graph.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Nice
ma'am.
presentation on critical path. Yeah.
So the next participants, participant number 13 and 14, Janvi and Aryan Dubey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Can we start?
Yes.
Yes, you can start.
Yes.
Morning, one and all, respected teachers present here, and all my dear friends. Myself, Janvi Kulkarni, and my partner, Aryan Dubey, students of Ram Niranjan Jhunjhunwala College, would like to present you a short survey report over the topic effectiveness of online teaching under teachers' perspective. As we all have gone through a very difficult time of pandemic, there are many things that we have adapted in our day-to-day life. Similarly, the online teaching and learning technique was introduced in our education system. Here is a survey over the challenges that the teachers might have faced or still are facing. The data collection was done by preparing a short questionnaire and was shared in the form of Google Forms on various platforms like WhatsApp, email, and etc. We have got total 82 responses from the survey. Here are some objectives that we have formed for the survey. Challenges faced by the teachers during the online teaching. More preferable source of platform for taking online lectures. Whether the traveling time is minimized. Are teachers willing to take online teaching after COVID-19 is analyzed and concluded. Here are some basic graphs of the survey like age, gender, platform, and device use. As you can see, the highest preferred device is laptop, and here is a pie chart that refers the platform preferred by the teachers, in which 49% of teachers agree that Zoom is the most preferable platform and 45% agree with Google Meet. Moving further, here are some challenges of online teaching in descriptive parameters. As the data was collected in the format of agree and disagree, we have coded the data and found the mean, median, and mode. And here we have represented it in the form of percentage.
And now here are some charts regarding the challenges faced by teacher that we have presented before in the form of a table. First one is about technical problem. This pie chart describes that 53% of teachers are agree that they are facing a technical problem. Second chart is about connectivity problem. From this pie chart, we can depict that 37% of the teachers are facing connectivity problem. Third graph is about lack of training. In this bar graph, 28.75% of the teachers agree with the problem of the lack of training, whereas 31.25% of teachers are disagree. Now, in last line graph, it is about distraction problem. In this line chart, 24% of the teachers are agree with the distraction problem during online teaching. Now in this bar graph, it is about attendance issue. From this bar graph, we can depict that 21.225% of the teachers are having attendance issues with students. Now it is about traveling time minimized. Here comes the bar graph that describes 66.25% of the teachers strongly agree with the fact that traveling time has minimized. And now this bar graph, from this bar graph, we can depict that 56.25% of the teachers are facing problem regarding the lack of contact with students. From this line graph, we can depict that 57% of the teachers are disagree for taking a online lecture after COVID-19. Now, the chart and the table which was shown in previous slide had concluded that on an average, mean, median, and mode of the challenges of online teaching is approximately 4. Here we have used SPSS software to perform the analysis, and the hypothesis is done using one sample test. Since p-value is 0.011, which is less than our level of significance, therefore we reject H0. Therefore, we can finally conclude that there is a significant difference in average challenges of online teaching. Have a look on the conclusions over analysis. I will be highlighting the point for the conclusion received over suggestion. According to some of the suggestions received from teachers, we conclude that blended online offline teaching learning method should be introduced. Second one is during bad weather condition like heavy rain, online teaching will be more useful, so there will be no loss of students in their academic.
Lastly, I would like to thank Rahul sir for helping us with the analysis and data collection part, and thank you judges for listening us patiently. Thank you.
Very good presentation, slightly different than the other COVID-19 presentations. Last conclusion, can we go to last conclusion slide, please?
Sure, ma'am.
These conclusions, two conclusions separately you made over suggestions. Are these given in the Google form itself by teachers?
Yes, ma'am. We have received some of the suggestions in the Google form itself. As we have kept the suggestion part in the Google form,
Yes.
there were many suggestions that we have received, but we have come to a conclusion that these are the most important suggestions.
Okay, many teachers have given these suggestions.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, good presentation. I would like to ask one question. Actually, this question is common for all COVID-19 students' presentations. Just go back to any data where you have shown the TPS. Maybe slide number 10, I suppose. Slide number 10. Here and many other slides also, we have seen something called as p-value. Can you elaborate p-value and LOS? What is that?
P-value is like
I can't hear.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, yes.
Ma'am, LOS is a level of significance which is should be 0.05.
What is the meaning of LOS and what is the meaning of p-value?
Ma'am, p-value is
Level of significance is okay, fine. What is p-value?
ma'am, p-value is like that is the value of sample, means which we obtained after analysis after.
Value of sample in the sense?
It's how to say. Like significance of two-tailed value. Actually, I don't.
Okay. Is the other one? Who is the other one? January?
Ma'am, actually, we are in the learning process of this.
Yes.
We don't know the detail about it, and
Okay.
we have used the SPSS software with the help of Rahul sir.
Okay.
We can't elaborate all these topics as we
Okay.
are learning these topics new.
Okay. Actually, p-value is nothing but it is a probability that you get the area beyond the your table calculated value. That is the more extreme area in your normal curve. It is like that. So if you are drawing a normal curve and you are showing your calculated value on your x-axis, then beyond that x-axis value, the calculated value, the area in the normal curve is nothing but p-value. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
ठीक है. Okay, nice presentation. Good.
Thank you.
Okay, very good presentation. Where are the slides?
Jani, just share it
Ah.
again. I think you just cancel it.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, the theme is same as or of the previous 2-3 presentations or topics, you can say, that is impact of lockdown or this in teaching. But you have taken good questions, that is good points, that is technical issue and all that. Can you go to the second slide, second or third one? Third, fourth one, or fifth one, sorry, I should say fifth one. Yes, here device usage and then other things, age and all. Then next slide. Yes. So the good points or good issues you have taken, that is lack of training, lack of course technology and all the things.
Yes, I do agree with this,
Yeah.
you sir.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely. Questions are very good compared to others questionnaires. Very good.
Yes. Even distraction problem and all.
Yes. The suggestions are also taken and they are mentioned in the conclusion. That is also plus point of this.
Yeah. Go to the conclusion. Just I have one remark. Yes, here in conclusion, according to some of the suggestions received from teacher, we can conclude blended online-offline teaching would be preferred or would be introduced. So what do you mean by blended online-offline teaching? How it blends?
Actually, sir, by taking online lectures and by keeping offline exams. So the time will be reduced for teacher, the traveling time, as I mentioned.
Yes.
And the offline exams can be taken to test the knowledge of students.
Okay. Offline exams are no doubt they're better to judge the students' knowledge and all the things. And
Yes.
Second conclusion, during bad weather condition, like heavy rain, in heavy rain we may face the network issue also. So that I want to.
Comparatively, sir, as we can say, preferably in Mumbai region, we face the problem of train strike or train may get
Stuck in between.
stuck
Yeah.
during heavy rain. So
Yes.
teachers and students might face the problem of traveling.
Okay. That
So
is
comparing to connectivity, we can say that this problem is more
serious about.
Yeah, severe. Yeah. But this heavy rain problem or the train issue, that is only for 2 to 3 months, not the whole year. But internet connection may lost any time. We don't know when it lost. And
Yes, exactly.
even today, Chaya madam was facing some issue,
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's
No, and one more thing, the connectivity with the student gets disturbed. That is the big problem in online teaching. That is what I think. We cannot see the students, we cannot see their expressions, through which actually we come to know whether they have really understood or not. That we miss, So it is difficult to know whether they have really understood, and they don't reply sometimes, you know,
Yes,
their
yes,
move on, their videos are off.
yes,
So all these problems are also there.
yes. I mean, strong. I am strongly agree with you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
I think all teachers will agree with this.
yes,
It's
yes,
not
this.
neither the students.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes.
And even as students said, yes, they can't also express their,
Yes, their views and this one. Okay.
Yes, that's true.
So, ma'am, I think Mujtaba Sheikh is present here right now.
Shall I stop the sharing?
Yeah, you can stop.
Yes.
You can stop.
Please.
Thank you, sir.
Mujtaba Sheikh is there. So I think she is not there. So she is from MSc Path 1. Her topic is generative advisable network. So she is not there, sir. So I think these many participants we have for presentation. Hence, I can say approximate around 7 participants.
Yes. Yes, 7 participants.
Yes, 7.
So, ma'am, any comment, general comment, or Sanket sir, so that like participants can.
Yes, I would like to say something. Sanket sir would also like to say something, sir.
Yes, madam. You speak, then I will speak little.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, actually, you know, every year we celebrate our National Science Day on today's day, that is 20th February, in the remembrance of a Nobel Prize winner, a great scientist, Dr. C.V. Raman. And on this occasion, our college has taken this great initiative, I feel, of organizing this Anusandhan, that is a seminar on classic research paper presentation. And I think because of this, we all have decided a topic, then search for its original paper, read it. We took a lot of efforts to study, to understand that paper, and then prepare PPT, practice a lot, and then finally we presented it today here. I feel this whole process have tested you a lot. Maybe sometimes you must be curious about the topic, and many times I'm sure you must have felt like, oh my God, why I have participated in this. That also must have happened with these few students. But I'm sure today, now when you look at this whole process, you will feel, yes, that this has given me a lot of, not only in terms of knowledge, but also in terms of patience, the way we are studying, and mainly the joy of learning something different, and that too on your own. Of course, your teachers have, your guides have also helped you a lot. But for your teachers also, this job would have not been so easy, you know, preparing for or guiding you for the research paper. But they also took a time from their busy schedule and they did it. This Anusandhan, I feel, will be a great success when at least few of you will choose research as their own career. That is what, at least I think I expect from few of you, that you will go for research work ahead in future. And of course, how can I forget about the other students who today presented their paper on our very current topic, that is COVID-19. I feel through this whole process, they have learned right from preparing questionnaire, right before that, fixing the sample size, or maybe you were not knowing or you were not aware how the people will respond to your questionnaire. So sample size was even shaky. And then you prepared a questionnaire, then shared that with a lot of people, collected the data, then analyze it. And in today's world of data science, I feel it is a good start towards a new journey. So I hope a complete whole process for today's this Anusandhan activity will take you ahead in future in your career. I wish you all the best, and I wish you a very, very challenging, informative, and motivating National Science Day. About your presentations, I have already spoken when the presentations were going on. And I think that is all. Wish you good luck for your future. Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
madam. Yes, yes, Rahul sir, thank you. Yes, I'm really happy that this Anusandhan we are doing online. And this Anusandhan is really a good opportunity for all the students, means from all students from arts, science and commerce to study apart from syllabus and to present their work, to study that in a depth, in a thoroughly, and to present in front of teachers and to discuss the things. And this is really a good thing that we are learning how to present, means our presentation skill is improved through this platform, that is Anusandhan. And all of you, all the participants have done very good job. And actually I personally feel through in online lectures or in online platform, we cannot judge the participants, or we cannot judge whether means that person is speaking means what I want to tell. We cannot judge the knowledge of the other person that I would say.
Yes.
Yes, yes, that is actually a big drawback of online platform. But still, we have opted this for this year at least. Okay, and all of you have done a very good job. So, so with this, I stop it here and wish you all the good luck for your future career. Thank you, all of you. Over to you, Rahul sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am and sir, for your nice suggestions. And definitely our students will work on that. And wherever and whenever they will get the opportunity, they try to present them. And I think this is the end of the session. So shall we end, or yes, ma'am?
Yes, I think it's done.
Any students? Anyone students?
Students,
want
if they want to ask anything, if they have any query, they can go ahead, or even they want to share their experience.
Yeah,
go
so they
ahead.
can.
Yes, yes, they can also.
Last 1 minute or 2 minutes.
Saili, Jyoti are, I think, most senior students, and Manish, of course. These three are from TY class, so they can also share their own views in this whole process, as well as otherwise also in the overall growth.
Manish is there?
Yeah, he's there.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Manish, you can speak something so that you can guide to your juniors SY and FY.
Of course, yes.
So that in the next year they can be prepared in a very well. Actually, all the participants have done very well.
Very good.
They done better than me, sir.
It is extremely important that we should mention all students are from undergraduate, and they have really taken, it is like Shiva Dhanusha Pelne jaisa tha, explaining research paper is not a big, it is not easy, it is not a joke, It is really difficult task, and especially those students who have done research paper and other students who have for COVID.
And we were also searching for. We were searching for research paper. That was so difficult task for us to start.
Yes. Your
Even
paper was
yes, so difficult. It was in German language, and then Kiran sir has translated, and he has find out, I don't know from where, but a great thanks to sir that he has done well for us.
Actually, these students were not getting their paper at all on Google. They searched a lot, and then we just put this query to Kiran Kulwankar sir, and then Kiran sir really helped us. Within few minutes, he said that this paper is in German, and it has been translated by so and so person in so and so year. It is in this book. Then he searched for the book. He sent book also, online book, but that book had some pages were blocked in that book, so we couldn't get that paper, complete paper. Then he requested his friends from US, and those people got that book from their own library, and then they got a PDF, and then Kiran sir sent it to us, and then these students have used that.
Okay.
It is only because of Kiran Kulwankar sir, because he
Even thanks to you, ma'am.
No,
You You have also supported us in every possible
That every
way.
teacher
Yes,
has done.
ma'am.
See, that every guide has done for every student.
Yes.
That is not a big task. But Kiran, he really went out of the way to contact his friends from US, and then he got that paper for us. That was really a big help. Otherwise, because that paper is not available otherwise online. So getting that paper was itself is a big task, and it is done only because of Kiran sir.
But for us, ma'am, you also went way far to explain that paper to us because it was really difficult to
Every
understand on
guide has
our
done
own.
that. Every guide for their student have done. I have not done anything. Every
Even
student have their own guide, and their guides have guided them.
even we felt the same, like what you said, was it was joy to learn something new. But
Yes,
when we read it, it was why I've taken this.
I was expecting this. That every time we feel we take something in enthusiasm, and then last minute a minute comes where we say, "अरे किधर से हम लोग यहाँ पे आ गए?" Why